Hey, what's going on, brothers and sisters out on YouTube? Alright, want to talk about something today. My story today is, Hollywood. You know, Hollywood's kind of like showing their true colors of the people of color, especially us African Americans. But first, I want to start off saying, I remember I watched a video a long time ago. It was by Brother Super Harvey Super Brother. Man, one day I'm gonna get that name fixed up right. But anyway, he was saying something about the black shows, all the shows that we had. What happened to them? Where did they go? And I'm like sitting myself the same thing. Like, yeah, you know, he's telling the truth. I mean, you don't see shows, because I remember last shows like Everybody Hates Chris, you had Eve, you had Sisters. I mean, you had those shows on UPN and WB, which they don't hardly show on there no more. Now, on there, you got like Vampires, 9210, you know, all this witchcraft, you know, stuff like this. It's all white, you know, all white-based channels, because you just don't see it no more unless you go on TV One or BET. I remember like back in the 70s, 80s, whatever, you had like shows of us African Americans trying to, you know, get out of the hood, you know, not try to get out the hood, but someone still remain in the hood, you know, because that's all we know, and that's all we lived in our life. But, you know, most of the time you had shows like Good Times and, you know, Jeffersons. Well, Good Times, they were still in the projects, but you had shows like the Jeffersons. You know, they left out the, you know, out of the ghetto or whatever, and they moved up to, you know, to that building, because when George Jefferson had the cleaners or whatever. And it just gone, because I remember back then, you know, NBC, you know, Cosby's kept NBC alive, you know. And the same thing as Fox with Living Color, Living Single, and other shows like that. And you don't see it no more. Now, I mean, you got shows, you know, all white shows, and only black person you're gonna see on there is like one black person. And you ain't gonna be able to see him all through the show, because usually he's gonna be like in the back somewhere or in the cut. And then the coolest thing about it, that when they do have our people on there, if you notice one thing, they all like overweight. You know what I mean? They overweight. It's like they don't have a clue or mindset of what's going on. And that's how they portraying our people on television today. And it goes on the same thing, because last night, like I said, I don't watch too much television, but I do watch some. And if I see something that's really, you know, messed up, I'm going to call it out the way it is. And I can understand how come some of these brothers and sisters that writes or not write but produce the show or be around there, you know, tell them, you know, that's kind of degrading, not degrading, but it's kind of stereotyping, you know, not like that, but stereotyping. It's kind of like hurting our people, the way you put things out, how you address things about us, you know, our appearance or whatever. One night, last night or whatever, I was watching 30 Rock. And I think it was about to go off, and the blonde head, whatever his name is, he was trying to like, he was worried about getting a job or whatever, and Alec Baldwin told him, look at your hair, you're white. And he like, oh yeah. And then Tina Fey all of a sudden, she gonna like, yeah, white man. What kind of shit is, I mean, excuse my language, because I'm trying to my best not to curse a lot. But I'm just like, you know, what kind of stuff is that? That's kind of like slapping us in the face, like telling us like, oh yeah, we're white, we can get anything we want. You know, the rest of them, they're going to suffer, you know, stuff like that. Even though Cosby Show kind of slapped them in the face, but not like hard like that. I mean, because Cosby Show proved that, you know, even though you don't have to be white to have a wife and or a husband to be, you two to be doctors and lawyers and have kids as honor roll students, or a show with all African Americans in an all African American college. But I would tell you one thing about us African Americans, especially when we had on TV shows, we never degraded or say anything or came out a negative way towards white people. We have not. Now, by George Jefferson, I mean, hey, come on now, look at Archie Bunker. So that's a tit for a tat. But we ain't ever, African Americans on television ain't never, did things like that. Like, or another thing on 30 Rock from the Sun, when you got Tina Fey dressed all up as a black person, like a black dude with a little afro, all dark skin. But see, to them, that's like the Amos and Andy thing. When they do stuff like that to the white audience, it's funny. But when Wayans brothers came out with white chicks, they didn't see that too amusing. They didn't see that too funny. They didn't find that too amusing. But so yeah, the Cosby Show in Different World, it was a kind of, slap in the face to him, but not like that. It was just showing them that, yeah, we can be the same just like you. No matter what color you is. And another thing what's going on right now is these cartoons, these animations. Every time these cartoons got something going on, they got something racist going on. Family Guy, American Dad, South Park, all this stuff is like degrading, racist stuff. And I'm going to say the same thing when Aaron McGruder did Boondocks. He did not degrade white people like that. He told it was real, what's going on, just what's going on right now as the world today. And you got like people like Tyler Perry, like, bring the brother down. Of course he gonna call you out like that, you know what I mean, if he did. Because you putting your people down like that, Tyler Perry. That's the reason why people when a movie come out, by the way, Red Tails was a good flick, classic. But in a way is that when movies come out, like African American movies come out, people don't want to go see them no more. Why? Because they think it's a Tyler Perry film. It's Spike Lee, John Singleton, the Hughes brothers, Robert Townsend, Keenan Ivory Wayans, F. Gary Gray came out in a movie right now, and chances are that it's going to be less audience. Now, back then, even though before Tyler Perry came, I remember when movies came out that African Americans made, it was a lot of people went to go see that. But now everybody say, hey man, you want to see? Oh man, it's probably like something like Tyler Perry did. But I'm not getting on Tyler Perry, but the way I am. Because the way, how he carried himself, the way how he carried us, how he carried our families. Now, I might get crushed from saying this, but it's the truth. But like I said, back to the cartoons, that every cartoon now, you got something racist going on. And you take this one cartoon that the same dude that did Family Guy called The Cleveland Show, it's portrayed as an overweight brother with a dysfunctional family. His family's not like, like the rest of them, like the rest of the white cartoons, but that's the only like dysfunctional family. Making it seem like this brother can't get nothing right. Making him seem like he's dumb, he's clumsy and everything else, but the rest of them, it's like, oh, it's a good family, whatever, and they had a little family moments. It's crazy. Hollywood always been racist. But I never knew that they would get this far with racism. Now, if FCC was so critical about Janet Jackson, about her breast slip or whatever, how come FCC ain't critical with this stuff, with this stuff's going on right now? How come people behind the stages or behind the scenes that with this cartoon and stuff like that, how come they can't tell them, the producers or writers, hey, you got to kind of like lower this right now because when you making fun of people, you making fun of me. And I don't see it so kind of amusing. So it's making it seem like, oh, we want to go back to this Amos and Andy's days. Now, if a black person like myself went out and did a cartoon or did a TV show and did the same thing what they doing to us, chances are I'm not gonna last too long. They gonna yank me just like they did Aaron Magruder. They gonna yank him. They gonna yank me just like they did that brother. Because the way I see it on the Boondocks, Aaron Magruder, people, you know, just like I say, white people hate to hear the truth. They hate to hear the truth. Hollywood is screwed up. But anyway, I'm out of here. Leo 1, peace. I'm out.